Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. And we got a few topics that we're going to discuss today. We got CD getting signed, which was a major deal for us. We knew this was coming, but we still going to touch on it. And roster cuts. We got roster cuts. Cowboys had about 15 roster cuts. And we're going to go over some of them today. And then we're going to also talk about the roster cuts that we think are coming here in the near future. And then I think the cut down day is in a couple days. So we got 2 weeks and it's countdown time. We're getting ready to roll. So you got Cowboy Joe and I'm the host, DJ I'll Tell You What, and let's roll. All right, what you want to talk about today besides that? You want to jump it off and say you want to talk about the CD contract?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that. I know you're the numbers guy, and welcome everyone to our episode here. This is episode 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're rolling right along and making improvements as we go. So hopefully you guys can see that we got everything rolling here, and you're going to kind of like our presentation of what we're putting together. So CD contract, we've been talking about this all off season. I pretty much knew how this was going to go. I never had any doubt that they were going to get this contract signed. The only question was he going to be the highest paid player, or was he going to be the second or third? And as I mentioned in one of our previous episodes, I think he's the number one receiver. I do. But based on the deal, it looks like maybe he got a little bit less than Jefferson. So how did you see it break down?
Well, yeah, he got a little bit less than Jefferson. I think like 1 million. I mean, he got 36, and I think let me see. I just had it pulled up. He got just a little. He got 136. He got just a tad bit less than Jefferson. I mean, actually he got a tad bit less than Jefferson, but he actually got more of a bigger signing bonus than Jefferson. So this was perfect for him. He wasn't never trying to be the highest paid. They said that his camp and his agent, they were stuck at 34, and the Cowboys were trying to offer him 32. And they said that he's been at 34 the whole time. So that tells you that he wasn't never trying to be the highest paid. He really didn't care about that. What he cared about was the signing bonus and the years. And so that's I think that's what it boiled down to. I think he wanted 3, they wanted 5, they met at 4. And then the number, they wanted 32, he wanted 34. That's what it came down to. And that's why you have 136 before. So this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. I do think that with him and Jefferson, I think that when you start looking at the fact that CD is more durable, and the numbers show that, because if Jefferson had played every single year, all the games that CD had played, he would have better numbers than CD. But the fact that he's missed games, and his quarterback situation, his numbers are almost identical to CD. They're pretty close. So and then Chase is next. So out of the 3, like I said, CD is my favorite for sure because of his durability, because of Dak and their chemistry, and his yards after catch. But Jamar Chase is good too. He's just as good, and Jefferson is just as good. But they're right there. They're literally right there. You can give them 99. You can give one of them 99.5, the other one 99.6, and the other one 99.7. That's how close they are as far as. That's how I think it is. So we good. We got CD done. He's gonna be a Cowboy for life, quote unquote. So we got that done. I think that you're gonna see him probably. They have the open practice. If I'm not mistaken, it's Tuesday and Wednesday. So you're gonna see him out there tomorrow. Jerry has a owners meeting tomorrow morning. So. He's gonna have an owners meeting tomorrow morning, and then you should see him talking about the CD contract on Wednesday when he's at the open practice, and you should see CD for the first time on Wednesday at open practice. I don't think you're gonna see him at practice tomorrow. You'll probably see him Wednesday at the open practice, and you can expect all the bells and whistles. He's probably gonna pull up in a helicopter, all that. So that's what's gonna go down, and that's kind of how the Cowboys do things, in my opinion. They knew that this was gonna happen. They set this up just like this so that he could come out there the first day at the open practice and get the fans involved, get all the fans excited, and that's how it's gonna be. Now, my question is gonna be: is CD gonna be rusty, and is
Yeah,
the rest
that's
of
my
our team gonna be
concern.
rusty? Yeah, that's my concern. And not only is CD gonna be rusty, but is the rest of the team gonna be rusty as well? Because we didn't play no offseason, we didn't play no preseason. That's what where
Yeah.
my mind is at.
And I watched a lot of teams the last so game 2 and game 3, they played starters. I'm not really sure that there's an NFL team other than Dallas that didn't play their starters. So, what's frustrating to me about the Cowboys is they seem like they're just not using, analytics in the way they should be using them. They should be able to see that by not playing their players in preseason, you should have some kind of trends that you can see, it kind of impacts the beginning of the season. So yeah, we're going to be rusty, and everybody is, and he's going to be right along with everybody else. And so that's the frustrating part, not getting him done. This contract that they signed him to, they could have did it 2 weeks ago. The numbers were not really going to change very much, and so with the way the Cowboys do this, it's still frustrating for a lot of fans. But this is what they do, and then not playing the guys in preseason. And I was telling you offline today, you can just write it down, just book it. This time next year, this is when Michael will sign. Michael will miss all of training camp. He's going to unfollow the Cowboys off all his social media. He's going to be up in Philadelphia or in Pittsburgh. He's going to be hanging out with uh, AJ Brown or Jalen Hurts. It's going to look like he's just not wanting to play with the Cowboys because of the contract drama. But at the end of the day, he is going to get signed. You can book it. He's going to be he's going to be the highest paid defensive player in the history of the league. I believe he also could be the highest paid player of all time. It's going to happen. So this is what we're looking at next year. And so now we're going to just see, is CD going to take 2 or 3 games to kind of, get his sea legs? And when you look at our schedule, we don't have, easy games. No game in the NFL is easy. But because they delayed him coming in, it could impact our early game. So that's what we're looking at. I think we're going to be rusty all the way around. And, so the Cowboys need to look at how they're doing this. I'm really surprised that McCarthy hasn't really changed that up. But um, the Cowboys do let their coaches make a lot of these decisions. So this is something that it just seems like McCarthy likes to do. I don't know how much he's being influenced by the front office. That's a really something that we don't really know. So, but yeah, I'm glad we got him signed. So we can just go ahead and get ready for Cleveland and hope he's able to play some snaps. I mean, I would personally just like to see them just kind of ease him in, and because you don't want to. A lot of times you get the soft tissue injuries when guys just come back and jump out there and start playing. So that's kind of my concern, but it is what it is. He signed, so and I also believe that they're going to get Dak signed. They're going to get uh, him signed. I think it's going to be before Cleveland. And probably what you're going to see Dak is going to sign a contract that he could have signed 3, 4 weeks ago. He's going to get exactly what he's looking for. The Cowboys, they drag these things out, and the players end up getting, whatever they're asking for. They've done it. They've done it with every player that they wanted to sign. They've never had a player that they wanted to sign where the deal didn't get done or the player didn't get what they were asking for. Every player that they negotiate with, they end up getting the contract that they want. Every player. You can't name me one player that was in a contract situation with the Cowboys that didn't get what he wanted to get. That's just what they do. Their process is the problem.
Yep. Because if you was to just like I told you a couple of days ago, if you was to just explain to someone how the NFL cap works and how you're supposed to sign players, and if you just also looked at all the other 31 teams, clearly you would see that you're not supposed to wait until the player is at their peak performing, that having their best season. You're supposed to do that before. You're supposed to predict that and sign them before to save yourself money. The Cowboys don't do that. Cee Dee Lamb had his best year. Almost was he was almost uh the number one receiver. Well, he really was. I mean, he almost caught Tyreek. Tyreek got injured. He almost caught Tyreek. CD had the best season we can ask for. He broke all of the Cowboys records. He was like number fifth overall wide receiver season of all time. And now they want to sign him, which was we should have did this months ago. We should have did this years ago, a year ago at least. And then with Dak, they have dropped the ball on signing Dak so many times, but like Dak bet on himself every time, and they bet against him, and he proves them wrong every time. He gonna do it again this year. My only thing that I'm thinking about Dak is I would think that this will be the first time we might see Dak get signed in season. That's what I think. I
You,
think that
you said that today. You kind of threw me off. So what's your kind of thought process on that? So, is my mic sounding good? Was I sound too close earlier?
you say I'm
Am I
better
sound
now.
okay now? Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you
So
think they would do it mid-season versus just doing it now? What would be the purpose in doing that?
I don't think that it's going to be done now. I think that they really are trying to back off of Dak, and they're really trying to make him prove it. And then but I think that they're gonna they're gonna it was a report today. John Machota reported today that they wasn't close on Dak deal, and I believe that's true. I believe that they're not close. I believe that they don't want to give Dak $65 million. I think they don't want to, and I think what's going to happen is I think that Dak is going to perform outstanding for like 4 or 5 games, and then they're going to be like, you know what, let's do something. Because if they don't, either way it go, Dak gonna win. Either way it go. If they sign Dak, which I think they will eventually do, they gonna sign him just like you said for what he want. It don't
Now,
matter.
now, when you look at our schedule, we could be looking at the opposite side of that coin. We could start our season off. We could play the first 6 games and be 2-4. Then what?
But then
So
there
I
you
don't
go.
I
That's
don't
why
think
they
this. I don't think the way he plays at a schedule, to me, is not gonna. I don't know. I don't see that being a factor, but we'll see. It to me, it just doesn't make any sense to wait. If they are not sure that they want to sign Dak, then there's no reason to sign him in midseason based on his record.
they don't never do anything that makes sense. So uh,
Yeah,
so
and and we may have to just do a separate show on Dak, but it's my theory that Dak has won the deal. He doesn't need the Cowboys. The Cowboys need him. Dak can easily go play in Vegas or in New Orleans, and he's gonna be completely fine. The Cowboys will be left holding the bag. So Dak has the advantage. His agent has the advantage. So, and with the way this Trey Lance thing is going down, which I never thought Trey Lance was a threat to Dak. We had, there was this idea that there were a lot of Cowboy fans that were thinking that Trey Lance was coming in to challenge Dak. That never was the case.
yeah,
Trey Lance was brought in to try to look at him as a future option and then to compete with Cooper Rush, but
that
that's
didn't
that's
work.
not yeah that's not going to work. So Dak has won the deal. So the Cowboys, they can fool around and but Dak has them over a barrel. So it's just a matter of, are you going to do it now? You can wait to the mid season. You always NFL. You risk an injury, and then again, you're risking that they just start out 3-3 or 3-4. Because they got a tough schedule. So
And
yeah,
then we do need to have a separate we do need to have a separate show on Dak. We need to do that this week. But what I'm gonna say about Dak before we move on to the actual game plan and who else they're bringing in and the roster cuts, I'm gonna say this about Dak. I think that if you look at the situation, you know, there's only one quarterback, and I even hate saying it's one quarterback, but I feel like everyone puts too much emphasis on just the quarterback. Like it's just the quarterback's job to win a game when it's like there is. a defense, there's a head coach, there's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. It's no way that you could look at that game for Green Bay last year, and if they ask you why did they lose, it's no way that Dan Quinn doesn't come up. There's no way. When you can look at that, when you can just rewind the tape and you can just see that glaringly the defense dropped the ball, and you can look and see that Dan Quinn, he suffered repercussions because of the way that he called that game. So I don't
Mhm.
think that it's just the quarterback. It's only one quarterback that I could say that is going to get it done, and that's his name is Patrick Mahomes. And even Patrick Mahomes have bad games, but in bad games, just like the Super Bowl, he had a bad rough first half, and his defense kept them in the game. And Andy Reid kept his head on straight and called a great second half, and got his playmakers involved. So it's not just about Dak. Dak does have bad stretches. He does, but he also has good stretches. And I feel like if your defense can keep you in the game, Dak will play us back in the game. I mean,
And that would have happened against Green Bay if our defense had just stopped them in the first half. I think Dak would have got his sea legs and they would have came back. And they would have definitely made it competitive and possibly could have won. So yeah, we got all the evidence in the world that you got to have that defense like the Chiefs had in that Super Bowl. You're right. They kept them in the game. Mahomes turned the ball over in their territory too,
and
and
they
the
stopped him.
defense held. So I think we got the. I think Zimmer is going to be our answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we'll have to do another show on Zach. So these roster on Dak, sorry, on these roster cuts, was
Mm-hmm.
there anybody on there that surprised you? So the list that we have, did J-Lo, I want to see the receivers. Did J-Lo Moreno Cropper make it?
He didn't get cut.
Okay. So one thing we got to talk about too is, back in my day when I was, I call myself the Cowboy OG, but back in the day when they would cut the roster down, that was pretty much the team. But here in recent years, they would cut the team, and then during that same week, the roster is still changing. So obviously, this thing is very fluid. We got the names that we got today, but what we're going to have on Friday is going to be different from what we're looking at here. So, uh, so it looks like at this moment we're probably keeping 6 receivers. So
Okay, so let's look at the list as a whole. So we got Deontay Burnett, we got Josh DeBerry, Cole Cabral, Willie Harvey Jr. I knew he was gonna get cut. Alec Holder, wide receiver Cam Johnson, Jason Johnson, linebacker, running back Nathaniel Pete. We knew he wasn't gonna make it. This one right here is one we've been looking at. We knew that he wasn't gonna make it.
who is that?
Eric Scott Jr.
No, he wasn't going to make it. He'll be in DC tomorrow. He'll be with the Commanders
Yep, because
tomorrow.
that's his
That's
his
and
sponsor is that.
another show we got to do is when you let coaches pick players. It's really kind of the chicken and egg theory that we're gonna talk about on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Should you let coaches pick players? Should you let the scouts pick? Should you do a little bit of both? What we saw
Mm-hmm.
with that draft is what we saw in the last recent years is Dan Quinn has picked a lot of guys that they're not on the team anymore. Nashawn Wright, Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph got cut today by the Chiefs. So all of these
Kev,
guys,
Kevin Joseph should still be on this roster.
well, I thought he played good enough to at least hang around. But my point is that a lot of these guys that Dan Quinn drafted, they just didn't pan out. And the Cowboys, they don't learn lessons. They did the same thing with Rod Marinelli. Let Rod Marinelli basically run a couple of drafts. That's how we ended up with Taco, Tristan Hill, some other players. So, I do. We need to look at, again, their philosophy. We got to do a show talking about analytics and how they just don't look at what they do as a franchise and make adjustments. So
They don't, and you can point at so many different things. They really, like you said, when it boils down to it, they need to redo the entire process on how they vet and choose and scout on these players, because you can even look at like the chicken and the egg theory that we always go back and forth about. I think it depends on who your coach is that's picking these players. Because if you have a coach like Jimmy Johnson in there picking players, then it's a difference. If you have a coach like Bill Belichick picking players, it's a difference. But it's like also you can look at the last year, they let. I mean, look at what's the name? He picked Mozzie. So it's just like, how did y'all let him pick Mozzie? Y'all, the whole process is messed up.
We got
Y'all
to
let
do a show on Will McClay too.
Yeah, Will
Uh,
McClay. Y'all let him
yeah,
pick Mozzie. What does Will McClay do? Because from what we see that he does, we need to talk about that because he picked Mozzie, and then Mike McCarthy picked our second string tight end that hasn't done anything. So it's just like we really got a
yeah.
problem.
I did hear some things, and I forget what content creator it was. So I can give him credit. I think we might have talked about it in one of our earlier shows. I believe Brian Broaddus. It might have been Brian. Shout out to Brian Broaddus. My understanding is in that 23 draft, McCarthy wanted Bergeron as the pick. That's who he wanted.
Yeah, it was Brian Broaddus that said that on the show with
And
Jeff.
it was someone else that wanted Schoon. Was like a compromise, I guess. But my question about Schoon is how did he even get on the board where he was? Schoon should have been on your board as a fourth or fifth round pick.
But
So
But that's the thing. That's the thing that's even more. I'll take you. Do you want better? It's not how did he get on the board. It's how did he get picked? Because on their board, he was a fifth round, a fourth round pick. You can see it.
yeah.
It's on there. We shared that on our second video, I think. Um, maybe on our first video. He was on the board as a fourth or fifth round pick, and so was Mozzie. Mozzie was not. Mozzie was at the end at the beginning of the second round. That's where they had him going.
Now, John Stevens has made the team at this point. You were kind of concerned that he wouldn't. I just don't see there's no way that John Stevens doesn't make it. He's your number two
Mhm.
tight end. Now they're gonna play for political purposes. They're probably gonna have Schoon as a second tight end. But if they were just going on talent, so I see John Stevens sticking. I don't see a way that they cut John Stevens. Now did Brevin Span for he made it for now.
No, that's what I'm gonna say too. So these cuts, we're talking about the first couple of days just be like
Yeah.
12, 13 cuts, right? And then
Right.
tomorrow we're gonna see like 30 cuts, right?
Okay, so they got a lot more to
Yeah.
do.
Bourbon Span 4 is not making the team. Okay. We're gonna have to live we gonna have to live with that L. And who else did we say?
So you had a concern about John Stevens, uh, a little bit of concern about Deuce. Now, what do you think about Deuce with them wanting to bring in Dalvin Cook? Now, let's talk about Dalvin Cook right quick. Here's my thing about Dalvin Cook. The Cowboys played the Vikings recently. They played them the year that Cooper Rush started for Dak. That was the game that he won up there. And then the Cowboys came back a year or so later. Cowboys had lost to Green Bay, and then they played the Vikings the following week, and they blew them out. It was like, just a blowout. My observation in both of those games, Dalvin Cook was tipping. He didn't want to run. He didn't want to get hit. He wasn't hitting the hole. I was just like, he either washed up or he's just not interested in playing. So, you know, I'm not even really sure this would be a good pickup. My question would be is why are you bringing him in? You know they like Zeke. Dude's had a really good preseason. So, and I did see someone post tonight that they think our running backs will be Dalvin Cook, Zeke, and what's our other guy's name? I'm losing my train of thought.
Rico
Uh,
Dowdle.
Rico. They didn't even have Deuce in the mix. So, but and I'm sure that they had Hunter Lipke, which is a guy you like, but they just never let him carry the ball. So I'm not really this Dalvin Cook thing. I'm not really that excited about it. I don't really follow that one.
Dalvin Cook has not had. I don't know what they're doing either. I have no idea. I mean, there's nothing that you can look at that would make sense to bring Dalvin Cook in. I was looking earlier today, and I'm gonna share this, but this really doesn't even illustrate the point that I'm trying to make. I'm gonna share this real quick. because I want it goes further than this. So you can look at this. Dalvin Cook. These are his. These are his yards. These are his stats for the last year. It's not a game on here last year. Now he did have when he played with the Jets, he did have Brees Hall in front of him or whatever. Can
Yeah.
we please look at the yards that he accumulated this year? Just look at the yards. We're talking 33, 7, 18, 16, 23, 12, 5, 7, 26,
Now, do
13.
you have it? We need to look at the last 2 years that he started for the Vikings. So did you pull that up?
I
We
can.
we can get it
Those
later if needed.
we can get it. Those he had some decent seasons. He had like I think he averaged like 4.7 yards. I think he had a couple thousand plus. The last 2 years that he started for the Vikings, he had 1,000 plus yards. But that
I
was
think last year
2020
was kind of a wash.
and a year before that.
Yeah. So I just don't. I'm not seeing it. And a matter of fact, his brother played for the Bills.
Hmm.
He remind me of a younger Dalvin Cook. The way he was just hitting the hole, really just you know. He's a little bit smaller, but he was running tougher, just hitting the hole, picking up yards. He had a good game against us. When I watched Dalvin Cook, he didn't even look. He didn't look that way to me. He looked
No.
like he looked like he kind of looked like Zeke. But I would say myself, I wasn't. I'm not that excited about Zeke being on the team, but I'm taking Zeke over Dalvin Cook at the moment. But I think Dalvin Cook, again, we talked about this in one of our earlier shows. What I would
Hmm.
say about Zeke and Dalvin Cook in the passing down,
Hmm.
getting them out in the passing lanes, that would be attractive, but just down to down, I'm not feeling it. And then with Zeke, we talked about it before. I really like Zeke in that third back row, short yardage goal line.
Hmm.
We don't want to see Zeke with a lot of carries. You don't want to see Dalvin Cook. So we just going to have to see. And then the Cowboys, they always bring people in and nothing happens. They did this last year with that linebacker they brought in. They always do this. They bring guys in, and it really doesn't really amount to anything. So we have to just wait till the next couple of days and see, what's actually happening here. And then do they cut Deuce and try to get him back on a practice squad, which would be kind of silly. Your camera went off. Did I lose you? We're gonna wait for I tell you what to get his camera back on here. So yeah, the thing with Dalvin Cook, it's kind of a wait and see situation with him to see how things kind of pan out there, and as they get ready for Cleveland, we'll just kind of see how this running back room shapes out. Uh,
Okay, yeah. No, little man just ran in here. He's up
okay,
again. Yeah, so sorry, y'all. My son is up. He can't be up. But
okay.
anyways,
We actually
no,
coming down the stretch anyway.
yeah. So what the deal is with Dalvin Cook? They're trying to. I think they're trying to. What's the word that we like to use? And what do we always say? They're trying to save themselves or whatever. What do we say? They trying to, uh, you know, they trying to cover up for not doing what they were supposed to do at running back. They know that it's no way that Dalvin Cook should be coming in here and trying to start. That's not the answer. I would rather have Zeke.
Mhm.
I would rather have Rico Dowdle. I would rather have Deuce Vaughn. I would rather
Yeah,
have
they
Malik
got
Neighbors.
their guys.
Yeah, running back position. If they're going to trade for somebody, it's going to be like you said, like it's going to be like an Amari Cooper type of deal where they're going to have to get somebody during the year or whatever. But I really hope I really want to see how this running back thing pans out because I think that you know with Zeke giving you, I really don't want Zeke to start either. But I like Hunter Lukey and I like Rico Dowdle and I like Deuce Vaughn. Um, So I think that our running scheme is going to be okay. I think that we're not going to get the guy that we want until next year in the draft, but I think that we're going to be okay. And I also think that with Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, they are really good in run um, blocking. So I think that they're going to be exceptional in run blocking, and I think that they're gonna open up some lanes for all of the running back, and I
Yeah.
think it's gonna work. And so with the cuts, we gotta wait and see what's happening tomorrow and the next day. The Bretman span forward, I think we're gonna have to take the L on that one. I think we would love to see. I think Flonori is gonna make the team.
Flournoy, yeah. Well, it's some people that are concerned that something might happen. Really, they might try to cut him and bring him back to the practice squad, but that's not going to work.
No,
Somebody will pick him up. So
no,
to me,
to me he's a clear NFL player. You go ahead. I
yeah,
didn't mean to cut you off.
I got him over Brooks. I do,
Yeah, no doubt. I got him over everybody except Tolbert. I think he's right there with Tolbert. I
and I
think
think
that
by the end of the year, I think he can pass Tolbert.
I do too.
But
Well,
but the
yeah,
reality is that you're going to need both of them.
yeah. We don't want to count Tolbert out too, because I have
No,
Tolbert as a sleeper for a breakout season.
yeah, I
Me,
like Tolbert, but I think he has a role. But I think Flournoy to me is a different type of receiver. They need both.
yeah,
What the thing about Tolbert that's really impressive is that when Dak gets in a pinch, he can find he finds Tolbert. He did that last year, so
and he always make the catch.
he does make the catch, and he made some big catches in games for us last year.
Yeah, and on top of that, when it's clear that he not gonna catch the ball, he know how to position himself to get a pass interference and all of that.
Yeah, and
So
he's not going to let the ball get taken from him either, like the guy did Saturday night.
no, yeah. So I like Jalen Tolbert. I like how what I really like about Jalen Tolbert. I'll root for guys like him because he came in the league. He was a late round draft pick, and then he came in, and then he wasn't that good. But they studied and told him what he needed to improve on, and it's like he came back and he improved on those things. And then they was just like, okay, if Jalen Tolbert has improved, we should see him stand out in the preseason. He did that. He stood out in the preseason last year. And then he came in and he made some plays this year. So I think Flournoy, or however you pronounce his name,
Flournoy.
Flournoy is a ready-made NFL player to me. I feel like he has the size, he has the speed, he has the agility. When he catches the ball, he catches it, he high points the ball. Uh, Even with getting his feet in bounds, he don't he dragged both of his feet. I feel like he ready to rock. And I feel like with CD being rusty, we're gonna see that because I feel like
Yeah,
when CD comes,
Tolbert and Flournoy are going to have to play against Cleveland.
yeah, they're gonna have to play. And I feel like they gonna step up. I feel that way. So we're gonna see. But now who else gonna get cut today? I seen Damian Wilson on that list. I thought he would have made it, but
Well,
um
the thing about Damian Wilson is that they have that rule. They don't really want a veteran on the roster. I think the first 4 games because their contract will be guaranteed. So
mhm,
Damian Wilson will be a guy that they will bring back after week 4 if that same rule is in play. So
mhm,
by him being cut now, it doesn't really mean a whole lot.
mhm.
He's somebody that he's just going to be a phone call away around week 4 or 5,
Yeah.
and because we're hearing. Shout out to Brian Broaddus and Brad Sham. They're hearing that Overshawn with his hip pointer is a little bit more serious than they're letting be known. So, and that's not really bad too. If Overshawn has to really wait 3 or 4 games to get 100% all the way around, I'm good with that.
Me too.
So
And Diggs. If Diggs
yeah,
gotta wait a couple games get his feet, it's like you say, his sea legs up under him. I'm okay with that.
because
Um,
your starting linebackers for Cleveland might be Kendricks and Louisville, which is fine.
I think that's what it's gonna be, and I think that's what it's gonna be for the rest of the season until what's his name come back.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Clark
yeah,
is a little banged up too, and we can do a whole show on Clark, but we're not gonna go there. So we can go ahead and wrap it up. So tomorrow we'll just do another episode once we kind of get some more data on our cuts
yeah,
and walk people through how they need to like and share our videos. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can start going live. So you guys can help us out with that. Just kind of start telling people about our show. So tell them how to like and share what that means.
So yeah, just what you want to do is you want to just hit the thumbs up button below the video. So hit the like and subscribe button, and then hit the share button to share us to all your friends and all of your associates that follow the Cowboys. And we are Dallas natives, so if anyone is that in lives in Dallas and Dallas natives, we're gonna be out on the scene in the near future. So if you want to like, comment, and subscribe, and just share the platform, share the program with everyone that you can, just so we can get those comments and we can get those likes and those subscribers, because we're trying to get to at least 100 subscribers by Thanksgiving. That's what I said we should do it by Thanksgiving. August, September, October, November, maybe even before
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Before that,
Yeah, way before that. So we want to get 100 followers as soon as we can, so that way we can start going live and we can be more interactive. And everybody that we shout out, we watch you all shows faithfully. So we're always in the comments in other podcasters shows. So yeah, just like, comment, and subscribe as much as you can, and we really do appreciate it. We do have some subscribers that we're seeing it go up every time we post a video. We gain a few subscribers, so we just gonna keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And yeah, you all should be seeing us in the near future on other platforms as well. And so yeah, we left a lot of meat on the bone with this conversation, because we can go, me and my dad can go all night, really. We can go
mm,
all night, but we're trying to keep it 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, because we don't want to just bore anybody, and we want to keep it, we're trying to work on our algorithm. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at 30 to 40 minutes starting off, but you will see us tomorrow, because we have a lot more to discuss. And we can just, like I said, we can go on forever. So we have a lot more to discuss. So you'll see us tomorrow. We'll talk about more about CD. We'll talk more about the cuts, and so that way we can get an idea of what the final roster is going to look like come game day.
all right. Appreciate you guys joining, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks.
All right, peace. See y'all on the next one.